G'day everyone, I'm Phil.
And I'm Wayno.
And welcome to another instalment of DB Adventures. This time we've got something a little different planned. Now about 18 months ago we decided to go on a bit of a trip. And where were we going, Wayne?
Cape York.
And where are we going now, Wayne?
Not Cape York.
No. So about 18 months ago we started working this trip out, what we were going to do. And then about 10 months ago something changed. Hey Wayno?
Yes, I decided to get another job and haven't got enough holiday up my sleeve. We were going to go for 4 weeks, so I'm down to 2.
Yeah, and really you need 4 weeks to do a decent trip in the Cape. I've been there once before, and minimum of 4 weeks. Because we've only got 2 weeks this time, we decided to do something that, well, encompasses the spirit of Cape York. So we've got a bit of an adventure plan. Wayno doesn't know where we're going yet. I'm keeping that all up my sleeve. So we're going to head off. We've got things like, we've got bush camping, we've got beach camping, plenty of fishing, history. Off today we'll have a look at some old historical sites, but we've got some gold mining towns in there, and we've even got a World War II crash site to go and have a look at.
Nice.
So it's going to be a pretty good adventure, I think. Try and get all those Cape York elements in there. Now we've called it the Claytons Cape Tour. Now if you're old enough to remember, back in the early 90s there was a drink. It was a non-alcoholic drink, and it was called the Claytons, and their slogan was, it's the drink you have when you're not having a drink. So that's why we've got the Claytons Cape Tour, because it's the Cape Tour you have when you're not having a Cape Tour. So we're not going to get there by hanging around here anyway, so we better get moving because we've got a pretty big day planned, and hopefully tonight we'll have a bit of a camp around a nice waterhole. So we better get cracking. Let's get going.
Let's do it.
All right,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Starting to smell alright.
Sounds good. Got pies going. Bumpy. Where are we going from here? This way. Something you'll notice has been a little bit different on this trip is we're not actually going to say where we're going. And there's a good reason for it. Usually when I research any of the trips and you have a look on YouTube, places like that, by the time you actually get there, you know all about it. You've seen how to get there, you've had a full detailed trip. People say, oh, this is the spot you go to, this is how you get there, and this is what you're going to see. It kind of takes that spirit of adventure out of it. That's a small horse. 2 small horses. Anyway, it takes the spirit of adventure out of it, and it's kind of why we do this, is to keep that feeling. What's down this track? What am I going to find? Where does it go to? You know. So the places that we're going, we're not going to tell you where we're going. We're not going to tell you where we are, or how to get there. Even we're just going to show it to you, basically. And it's up to you to find out where to find these places and how to get there and get that spirit of adventure for yourself. And I think it makes it a much better journey and a much better trip. You have a better time doing it, and you get excited. So that's why you're not going to know where we are.
Now, with all that said, it wasn't too long before we came across our first major obstacle.
But almost the first victim of the day. Nice little carpet snake. He's watching me. Now these things, although they're harmless, for some reason every time I get near them they decide to turn around and attack me. Come on, Snakey. I'm not a big snake person as far as I don't handle snakes, but I'm not exactly scared of snakes. But I would like him to get off the road. Come on. You can see him just starting to coil up a little bit around the head. They usually do that when they want to attack me. And I've seen them double back on themselves very quickly. Now, Wayno loves snakes. He's a big snake fan. Slowly shift them off. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm not getting any closer.
Yeah, he's going off the road. Into the drain. Alright, clear to go. So old mate Snake's off the road, down in his drain. Try and make an effort not to run over animals, wildlife, if possible, without crashing the car. He was actually quite lucky. We were pulling up to turn around the corner. We're on the brakes anyway. Just had to pull up a little bit quicker, that's all. Yeah, as I say, I'm not as much as I'd like to be a snake person, I just haven't been able to be a handler of snakes. I have no training or experience, so I just don't do it. I just make sure they get off the road. And I'm learning about snakes, learning how to identify snakes, because you come across them all the time doing what we do. And even as kids, we're always around snakes. Just because of where we live, we always have bushland around us. Wayne's just got absolute phobia of snakes, which can be quite funny. But myself, I just stand clear. That's about it.
Now, all this snake wrangling certainly builds up an appetite, and with Wayno's wagon smelling like a bakery, I think it's time for smoko.
Perfect. Ah. Hot sauce. Smoko time. Wayno's trying out the, is it a road chef? Road Chef travel oven. Yeah, so we got pies for lunch. We'll be doing a roast tonight.
Roast pork for dinner.
Roast pork for dinner. We'll get that started soon. Probably very soon. So we'll be finished here.
Yeah, that'll take about 3 hours.
Nothing like a pie in the middle of the bush, side of the track, next to a secret little lagoon. How cool is that?
So after a quick bite to eat and a bit of an explore of this great little hidden lagoon, we are back on the track to, well, getting lost.
Yeah, so old mate in front of us here, actually I might just, he's just found us wandering around in the bush. He said, no, we're going this way. So he lives just up here somewhere, so he's taking us for a bit of a tour and come out where we wanted to be eventually. So hopefully we'll get there sooner or later. This track actually looks like a bit of fun. So there's a bit of four-wheel driving involved, so see how we go.
And this is the road?
Apparently.
We are hoping that this track leads us directly to the ruins of a copper smelter, built in the late 1800s.
Yeah, old mate lives up here somewhere. He said he'll just wave us through and we just keep going.
Alright, Jack. That's where he waves us through.
This is the biggest problem when following maps. Quite often the roads you choose to follow end up at a dead end, or in most cases, someone's front yard, or no longer even exist. This particular track wasn't even on the map, so the local knowledge we received from this friendly stranger was greatly appreciated.
Who needs Cape York tracks anyway?
I reckon.
Time to lock the hubs in, I think. Finally, for the first time on this trip. Alright. First obstacle already. Tree in the way. I don't like my antenna down the side of my camper.
Little did we know just how much that statement was going to haunt us in the coming days.
I still got two aerials on top.
Yeah, I'll put one down.
Yeah, I might do the same actually. Actually, it'd be more like Maytown. We're on the Maytown on the old coach road. Ooh. I don't like that noise down the side of my boat.
And remember, always leave gates as you find them unless there are signs telling you otherwise.
On steep, hilly sections like this is really slippery rock. It's just not a lot of traction at all. I've got the trailer brakes wound right down fairly low to stop that skidding, because you want it to be able to pull you up without just skidding and sliding and locking up and going. So I've got them wound down a fair bit because they do lock up pretty easily, just to try and just keep the tyre rotating, the brakes working for you. So if it starts skidding some of these downhills, then it can just try and overtake you depending on what you're doing in your vehicle. So remember that one.
Now as we come to the end of the track, we're on the lookout for a large chimney which is part of the remains of the old copper smelter. The track comes right out the bottom of it, they said. You can't miss it, they said.
Well, that's how good we are at finding history. We've just been up and down this road here. According to our GPS mark, it should be just here somewhere. Bugger if we can find it. Not sure where it is. So a big track to our bit of history just turned out to be just a track. That's it.
Hey, no, our luck will get to the aeroplane in the bush and come all the time taking that as well.
Yeah, probably every bit of historical mark we've got to be stolen.
Yeah. Don't feel it, because you can't even see like any remains or anything like that, or you know, whether it's destroyed someone's property or God knows.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably should have researched that one a little bit better, maybe.
Yeah. Even an old lady said, you know, this is the way to the chimney, so it must be still something somewhere, unless it's up further.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe the mark's wrong. No, the mark couldn't be wrong, could it?
I don't know, it is he, man.
Well, all we can do is keep going. We're going to be late to our campsite if we don't get a rig on. Alright, we'll go just up here, we'll do a U-turn and we'll keep going the other way.
Okay.
And so 3 U-turns later.
Yeah. Oh, look. I see it. I see it. I see it. That's what happens when you go up GPS marks that aren't accurate.
We're so close to it. We would have seen it if we looked down that other track.
So as it turned out, the GPS mark was only 4 kilometres out. You know, close enough really.
Finally, after all that effort, we found it. Of course, like everything these days, everything's all fenced off. Unfortunate. There it is. So as I said earlier, it was built in, I think it was the 1850s. It only lasted about 2 or 3 years before they closed it down. And because they started taking it to other places, other smelters. So I didn't get much of a use, but it's still here. So if you look on the ground here, all this will be the slag that comes off from the furnace. It's everywhere. This is actually a massive big hill of it. So this is all the byproduct. Once they extract the copper out, this is what's left, and they chuck it out. And it's all over the place here. There's lots of remnants you can see. I don't know if there's anything else we could see from back then, but I stand corrected. Apparently it was the 1870s this was built, as Wayno just found out. So about 1873 till 1875. You never know what's lurking around. Some of this slag looks really cool. You never know what's lurking around in the bush, in the middle of nowhere. It took us a while to get here. It took us 3 attempts to find it. But we finally got there. DB Adventures, we get the job done.
With the day fast coming to an end, we will almost certainly get into camp in the dark tonight, so Wayno started getting dinner on the go early.
What's going on here, Wayno?
Just preparing them feed for, well, since it's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours to get to our next destination. Caterpillar. Preheat the oven at 180 degrees. Can't guarantee we're going to have crackly pork. Crackle, crackle. Alright. Always take that out.
Because it does look like we're going to be a bit late to camp. And when we finally get to camp, we've actually got a couple of special guests joining us for the rest of the trip. That'll be our mum and dad. Yay! So they're coming, Dad's bringing the hybrid camper. First time on on one of our tours. So needless to say, he's a little bit anxious. But it's fine.
I don't know why. We don't do anything extreme.
He'll do what we just did to get here.
It's only taken 8 hours to do 250 kilometres.
But you get that. So they'll join us from tomorrow. We're going to meet them tonight at a bit of a waterhole campground. Hopefully it's nice and cool there. It's a bit warm here today. So we're going to get this roast in the oven. and then we're going to motor on out of here and make up for some lost time because we took a little bit longer to get here than we expected. Whoops.
Whoops.
But you get that on the big jobs, so we're going to motor on, cut some time out and hopefully get to camp before dark, but at this rate, maybe. We'll see.
After a quick overnight stay by the lagoon, we were back on the road.
Okay, well, we got into camp sort of late yesterday afternoon. Wayno had that roast cooked, very nice. Thoroughly recommend the old travel oven. Roast dinner, roast pork and veggies, and did it the whole time we were driving, so it was awesome. And we picked up Mum and Dad, they're following in behind us, back on the dirt road. And we're heading now to the coast. Go and get a beach spot and camp on the beach for a couple of days. Let me get some water holes like that. Oh, that looks better. Yeah, that's better. A bit better than where we were last night, that's for sure. It's all drought out here, so to find any water is actually a bit of a bonus, but that doesn't look too bad through there.
Corrugated road in Queensland, I think. Crikey.
So it looks like we got ourselves a bit of a log bridge here. A little bit, looks a little bit more rugged than the one over Cypress Creek, and yeah, at the real Cape. Let's see if I can line this up.
Down here, Phil?
Somewhere there. Yep. Didn't fall through. Must be strong enough. looks like we've got a wild brumby. Something you also get a lot of in the Cape. Something else you get at on the Claytons Cape Tour is wild brumbies roaming through the bush. I'll tell you what, Clayton's Cape has it all.
Now there's something else you'll find plenty of on Clayton's Cape that you'll also find on that other cape.
That's a lot of bulldusters there.
Crikey, it's dusty out there.
Further up the road there was a dramatic change in scenery. This change from tall timbered woodlands to low-lying heath vegetation was the very first indication that we were nearing the coast. Now of course, along with the vegetation, the soil also changes from hard-packed dirt to very soft sand. And so, after a quick stop to drop the tyre pressures down all round, we headed off for the last push to the coast. As we rolled over the typical undulating terrain that often comes with this type of sandy country, Wayno listed off a couple of modifications that, well, some people may need more than others.
Mum's got a racing harness on, a sports bar on, a suspension seat on.
And tightens the bra straps.
Oh no, the Parks is rocking and rolling.
When it's bouncing and bubbling and shitting and...
Crikey, launch it.
We hit the roof. Gentle, gentle.
I'm just thinking this is probably the longest access track I've ever had to go on to go to a beach camp spot.
We're not far from it.
And sure enough, after several hours of driving, we finally popped out on the beach. All that's left to do now is find a nice campsite out of the wind. This gem of a spot will be our home for the next couple of days. So while we set up and settle in, we hope you can join us next time when we take our boats for a walk.
Yeah, Ray in front of you.
Dive into a bit of gardening, and show the grey nomads what DV Adventures is all about.
I can't believe we're doing this.
That's all coming up in part 2 of our Claytons Cape adventure.